forsaken booth. The truth is you sadly mistaken. Proof I'm better than layman. Shoot, I'm super.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. This is your host, MongoSlade. Let's talk about MLW Fusion Alpha. I believe this is number 8. This is a very interesting show we got here. So, some random guys walking up to Hammerstone and all of his partners asking him whether he got all the people necessary for the big War Chamber match. You know, first Hammerstone cracks the joke about eating. And Ben, they're talking about the gains. Him and NJ and Duca, they're talking about the gains. Holiday is over in the corner on the phone. He turned his back to the guy. He's talking to Max. He's on the phone with Max, talking about Sting, how Sting ain't over, and Sting is not relevant, and Sting ain't been relevant since the police. And that, oh, Max wants to help us with War Chamber. That's okay, Max. We don't really need you. Thank you so much, though, for the suggestion. This is really good. You know, I like that. Again, I'm a real big fan of Richard Holiday. They did an interesting thing of bringing the dynasty back together. So okay, I dig it. You know, it's almost like him and Max are still friends. So that was good. I like that. Then Cesar Duran shows up and asks them, do they have all the men that they need for the War Chamber? Which they said, we're not making a deal with the devil at all. We're not doing it. Then he kind of talked them down a little bit, and he's like, all right, who's the guy? Who you got in mind, Duran? And Duran holds up a key, and he says, you know, this is the key. It's going to unlock your new man. And we didn't get to see who it is yet, but we do have a key. So I'm guessing we're going to have some new version of Matanza. That's my guess. If I had to guess, I'm guessing we're going to have some new version of Matanza. Matanza was killed off in Lucha Underground. So I don't know. And it's not going to be Jeff Cobb. It's not going to be him again. Which means they're probably going to find a guy, big fat guy, and they're going to put him in a Duke the Dumpster Drosy outfit. And he's going to be Matanza. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how it works. I don't like that Hammerstone is supposed to be a babyface, and they're making deals with Cesar Duran, though. I mean, I don't know about that one, dog. This is like, nah, I don't like it. I don't like all these babyfaces making deals with him. And it's a recurring theme on the show. He's made deals with like 2 or 3 other babyfaces, too, on this episode. I don't like that. Everybody knows Cesar Duran is a scumbag. Why are you making deals with him? The first match was Los Parks versus 5150. It's supposed to be a trios match. It ended up being 2-on-2 for the most of the match because LA Park and Homicide were not there. Then later in the match, Homicide shows up. A little bit after that, LA Park shows up. The commentators are talking about, oh, LA Park and Homicide got into a thing backstage, and it looks like they're not going to come out there. And I was like, typical Court Bauer. You know, suggesting something that's not going to happen. And then it kind of boils down into a 6-way or a 6-man tag, but not really. It just turned into a giant brawl. And brawl all over the place. And it's like this huge fight scene where it's just like they're fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and beating each other with all kinds of weapons and throwing stuff all over the place. And they fight all the way to the back. This match was completely thrown out. There was no rules at all. And then the fight ends with 5150 snatching one of Los Park's masks. I don't know if it's LA Park Jr. or LA Park, El Hijo de LA Park, which I think that's who it was. I think it was El Hijo, where they snatched his mask and ran. And the Los Parks were pretty pissed about that. So I like this. You know, I didn't like all the brawling. I thought the brawling was a little too much. I think you could have done the same thing, just did it in front of people. And snatched his mask, and Los Parks, you know, maybe they take off running. You know, even though they're the baby faces in this situation, we all understand what the mask means for the luchadors. You could have taken his mask, and then we had to, you know, they're trying to cover his face and, you know, and escape. And you know, they promised to come back and finish the job and everything. So that was cool. Backstage, you got Jacob Fatu. He's pitching a bitch. He's very, very, very upset. He's very mad. Later in the show, he goes to talk to Cesar Duran, and Cesar Duran lets him know, hey, when you were world champion, Joseph Samael was controlling your contract. He was controlling your title matches and everything, and he has not asked for a rematch. He's not setting up a rematch yet. And Jacob Fatu really wants the match. He's like, look, man, give me Hammerstone. He's like, well, if you work together with me against Joseph Samael, and Jacob Fatu like, hell no, man. Ain't nobody coming between me and Joseph Samael. And I was like, okay. We see now that Cesar Duran wants to get involved on both sides of the War Chamber match. He's been trying to put his hand in both pots. He's hedging his bets. You know, he's already kind of made a deal with Mads Kruger. He's trying to make a deal with Jacob Fatu, but Jacob Fatu ain't biting. He's kind of making deals with Hammerstone and those guys. So obviously Cesar Duran, his motivations are his own. You know, he's going to be a little bit different on that in that regard. I don't mind him being duplicitous in this way, where he's trying to work both sides against the middle. Well, you know, ultimately his goal is to get rid of Contra and to get rid of Court Bauer and take over MLW. That's his overall goal. And since Contra has pretty much said, you know, this is the battle for MLW because Hammerstone was their last hope. And once they beat him and finish him and all that kind of stuff, then they'll take over for good. And so Cesar Duran is basically saying, no matter who wins, I win. Because I'm going to, if Contra unit wins, I've got a man on that team, which would be Mads Kruger. And, you know, he's also going to have probably some people to help them out. But he's also going to have a man to help him out on the Hammerstone team, too. So I can dig that. You know, I don't mind that. They had this promo from Joseph Samael where he basically cut a, you know, it was basically a heel promo. He dissed Philadelphia and dissed the fans. And then said that his team is, there's not going to be anywhere for them to run or hide. Talking about Hammerstone at his War Chamber in Philadelphia. You know, pretty standard heel stuff. Then there was a 12-man tag elimination match, like a Survivor Series match. It featured the Beast Man plus Gino Medina plus Casey Navarro plus Akuro Kwan plus King Mo and Kevin Koo. That's their 6. On the other side, there was Zenshi plus Warhorse plus Savio Vega plus the Blue Meanie plus Richard Holiday plus EJ Nduka. And this match existed just for EJ Nduka to show off. He essentially eliminated every man on the team. He won the match, winning 3-on-1 at one point, where it was they really did a hard sell on EJ Nduka. They did a hard sell with him. This is a guy they haven't put a lot of focus on. They just talked about him a lot. So they kind of went in on him in this episode by having him beat 6 guys in one match, and him in the final 3 he beat by himself. You know, Richard Holiday ended up getting counted out, so they kind of protected him and not giving him a pinfall loss. But everybody on the other, I thought they cared more about King Mo because he just got beat with like a single spine buster. But I'm guessing he's a flop. So. And he's terrible. But they did a good job with the Beast Man, because the Beast Man got like 3 or 4 eliminations for his team. He took out Zenshi. He took out Blue Meanie. I believe he also took out, no, that was King Mo that took out Warhorse. So I think he also took out Savio Vega. So the Beast Man did okay for his team too. But of course, they just did that to set up how it would be impressive when NJ Nduka beat him. So, okay. All right. They show why he's on Hammerstone's team by showing how badass he is. So Cesar Duran was also having conversations with Willow Nightingale, who is also a babyface, and she was talking about how she's not in MLW to make friends. She's in MLW to win championships. And, you know, to be a chubby girl, she's pretty cute. You know, she doesn't have that super fat face. So she's not bad looking. Not a bad looking young lady. Her and Cesar Duran ended up shaking hands, and You know, there's some sinister stuff going on there too, and she's just being very delightful and very nice. So I'm very interested in what's going on with her. And the main event was Bobby Fish versus Davey Richards in the semifinals of the Opera Cup. A good grappling back and forth match. Typical of what you would think of these two guys if you heard their names. If you've ever seen either one of them before, you know what kind of match they can have. You know, good grappling back and forth, hard hitting stuff. And Davey Richards wins with a heel hook. Not bad. Not bad at all for a main event for this show. So the show was enjoyable. Not the best, but not the worst. I'm really enjoying the storytelling that they're doing in MLW. And how they're remixing some of the elements of other people's intellectual property that they've decided to use. But at least they're trying to freshen it up and do different things with it. I like the cinematic bits of Cesar Duran stuff. I love him as a character because he gets involved and he is the big bad. So he is involved and he's trying to break up all the factions. Well, at least he's trying to break up Contra Unit because they're a threat to his power. So he's not joining Contra, which is what I thought. He's trying to break Contra apart. And he's using everybody's desire to be the world champion in order to do so. He wants Jacob Fatu to drop Joseph Samael. And he's already talked to Mads Kruger like, hey, you can go on your own. And that's not disrespectful to the Contra Unit. So, but he's also making backdoor deals with Hammerstone, which is their enemy. It's like, okay, I like this. This is all pretty good. And everything on the show had a purpose. You know, everything on the show was about selling future matches or future segments between characters that are involved. It's just the next step, the next logical step in the story. And that's good storytelling. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. Thank you guys for your time, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.
Skin tone, why attach yourself and piggyback the wealth you didn't earn or lack yourself? I'm telling you to own up to your own success and failures. It's a reason why these sleazy guys